All right, so if you use Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Etsy, eBay, or any other payment platform, okay, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act just saved you from a paperwork nightmare. OBBBA just killed one of the most hated tax rules from the Biden administration. Now, this is day 15 of me breaking down the One Big Beautiful Bill Act for the next 30 days. So let me explain what almost happened and what OBBBA just prevented. So the Biden era rule that was coming back in 2021, the American Rescue Plan Act changed the 1099K reporting threshold to $600. That meant if you receive more than $600 through payment platforms in a year, even from friends, families, or selling used stuff, the platform would send you and the IRS a 1099K form, right? So imagine you selling, an old couch on Facebook Marketplace for $400 and then collecting, $800 from, maybe your roommates for rent through Venmo, and then making $650 from maybe a side gig on Fiverr, and then maybe getting a reimbursement of like $700 for, group dinner expenses. All of that would have triggered a 1099K, and you would have had to explain to the IRS that it wasn't business income. The IRS kept delaying enforcement because it was so unpopular and it was so unworkable, but it was still the law until now. So under OBBBA, the 1099K reporting threshold jumps from $600 to $20,000 in gross payments and requires more than 200 transactions. That's right, okay? You need both. It's both together. So over 20,000 in payments and more than 200 separate transactions. This is the old rule before 2021, and now OBBBA brings it back permanently. So here's what this means. So first things first is casual sellers are protected now, right? So selling your old iPhone, furniture, clothes, or any other personal items, it won't trigger any sort of tax reporting. Now, number two is friend-to-friend transactions are safe, right? So splitting bills, paying back loans, collecting rent from roommates, none of this is gonna create that 1099K form, okay? Number three is small side hustles, they get a little more breathing room, right? So if you make a few $100s from, freelance work or selling crafts, you're not gonna get that 1099K, though you still owe taxes on that actual income. So report that thing, okay? And then fourth is this massively reduces paperwork for gig workers and freelancers, online sellers utilizing eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, and all those other ones, small business owners, and payment platforms, right? For Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and Zelle. Now, number five is let's be clear about taxes. This doesn't change what income you owe taxes on. If you run a business or have a side hustle, you still report that income. This just eliminates the flood of 1099K forms for transactions that aren't business income. Then number six is the document describes this as stops the Democrats' attack on the gig economy by repealing the ARPA 1099K rule, which is crazy how the wording of this stuff. Then number seven, for small businesses, this is combined with another change, the 1099 miscellaneous threshold. So for hiring contractors, it increased from $600